I still remember that night like it was yesterday. The village was quiet, too quiet. It felt as if the very earth beneath our feet was holding its breath, waiting for the inevitable. Yet none of us could have foreseen what was about to unfold. No one could have guessed the storm that would ripple through our lives. Naya, the chief's daughter, had done something unexpectedly, something so bold, something that would alter the course of our village's history forever. Naya was the pride of our village, the beacon of light that shone over us all. She was not just beautiful in the way the sun kisses the earth at dawn, but kind and gracious. Every child adored her, and every elder spoke of her with reverence. Her laughter was the kind that could heal wounds, and her presence was the very embodiment of peace. When Naya walked through the village, it was as though the flowers bloomed brighter, the birds sang sweeter, and even the winds whispered her name, but there was always the weight of expectation upon her. Being the chief's daughter was not a role that came with freedom, it was a mantle of responsibility. The villagers placed their hopes and dreams upon her shoulders, believing that her marriage would seal alliances and bring greater fortune to the village. As custom dictated, Naya was destined to marry someone powerful, a man from a family whose wealth and influence would elevate the status of the village and strengthen its bonds with neighboring tribes. Yet, beneath Naya's gentle smile and obedient demeanor, there was a heart that longed for something more than what tradition prescribed. A heart that yearned for love, real love, not the kind born out of convenience or obligation, but the kind that grew wild and untamed, like the lush forests that bordered our village. And in secret, she had found that love in Tano's hand, but Tano was not from a wealthy family or renown. In fact, Tano was quite the opposite. He was a humble farmer, his hands calloused from years of working the fields, his face worn by the sun and the seasons. But his eyes spoke volumes. They were deep and full of wisdom, the kind of wisdom that comes not from books or power, but from an intimate connection to the earth. He loved Naya with a purity that could not be expressed in words, and Naya loved him just as fiercely. For a time, their love was a hidden joy, a private treasure they cherished when no one was watching. They would meet in the shadows of the dense forests that encircled the village. Under the cover of night, where they could be themselves, free from the prying eyes of tradition and expectation. They dreamed of a life together, away from the rules that bound them, a life where love could be enough, but as with all secrets, theirs couldn't stay hidden forever. It happened one fateful evening. The village elder, a man steeped in tradition and ever watchful, caught them. The sight of Naya, the chief's daughter, wrapped in the embrace of a common farmer sent shockwaves through his very core. He wasted no time, and by morning, the entire village was buzzing with the scandal of their love. Whispers turned into shouts, and soon, the peace that once blanketed the village was torn asunder. It was unthinkable. How could the daughter of our chief, the one who was meant to uphold the honor of our people, have fallen for someone like Tano? A man with no lineage, no fortune, and no influence. The uproar was immediate and fierce. The villagers were divided. Some, especially the elders, insisted that Tano be exiled, banished from the village forever. Others demanded that Naya be forced into an arranged marriage immediately, as if this would somehow erase the shame brought upon the village. And then there were those, fewer in number but no less vocal, who believed that Naya should be allowed to choose her own path, to marry for love rather than duty. Amidst the chaos, the chief and Naya's father was caught in an agonizing dilemma. He was torn between his duty as the village leader, bound by tradition, and his role as a father who wanted nothing more than to see his daughter happy. For many nights, he sat in silence, wrestling with his heart and mind. How could he betray the customs that had governed their lives for generations? But at the same time, how could he break his daughter's heart? As the chief pondered, the village's anger only grew. Naya, once the beloved daughter of the people, now became a figure of contention. Some cursed her name, while others wept for her plight. Meanwhile, Tano, the quiet farmer, became a ghost of himself. The man who once stood tall and proud among his crops now walked with a heavy burden on his back, knowing that his love for Naya had brought nothing but suffering to both of them. The decision was made: Naya was to be sent away. A marriage had been arranged with a man from a far-off village, a man who would restore the honor of the village and bring strength to their alliances. Tano, on the other hand, was ordered to leave, exiled, never to set foot in the village again. It was a choice made in the name of tradition, but in doing so, the village lost something irreplaceable. As Naya was taken away, her face a mask of silent sorrow, and Tano disappeared into the wilderness. The village fell quiet once more. But this time, the silence was not peaceful. It was a silence thick with loss, with regret, and with the lingering question of what might have been. The story of Naya and Tano became a whispered legend. Some called it a tragedy, others claimed it was a necessary sacrifice to uphold the village's values. But no matter how it was framed, the truth was undeniable: something beautiful had been destroyed in the name of tradition. The kind of love that could have healed and united their marriage union had been cast aside, and so, I ask myself, even today, could things have been different? Could we have found a way to honor both love and tradition? It's easy to look back with regret, but what I know for certain is this: love is powerful. It's unpredictable, uncontrollable, and sometimes, in our efforts to protect what we hold dear, we end up losing something even more precious. In the end, love is what makes us human. And perhaps, love is what we should cherish, no matter the cost. Like and subscribe for more, and drop your opinion at the comment section.